Aloha and welcome to the Everything You podcast. My name is Nicole Smart and today I have Esther Manito on with me. Thank you so much for coming, Esther.
Thank you for having me.
No
Always a
problem.
pleasure to chat to you.
No, of course. And we worked together, I think it was end of 2023 into 2024.
Yeah, you trained me for my first marathon.
Yeah. And so Esther is a comedian and you've done Live at the Apollo. You won Best Show at was it Leicester Comedy Festival?
Oh God, yeah, no, I forgot about
that. Yeah. And also the first woman to perform at the Dubai
Opera House.
As the first female comedian.
Yeah.
Some good stats there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wanted to have you on because we worked together in a slightly different way, I think, and in preparation for the marathon. And so we did. I think when you came to me, it was more like you wanted to build up a baseline of strength and kind of get an understanding around food and how that would relate to getting the result that you wanted for the marathon. And yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think the thing that you really educated me on was protein.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is... Because I never thought about... I thought about other things. You think about what's healthy. So you're like, fruit, veg, that's healthy. And because I do eat like a lot of salads, a really kind of Mediterranean diet, I always just assume protein with meat. So you're like, well, as long as you have a bit of meat a day, you're all right. And then you were just like, no, this is the volume of protein you need. And I was just like, that's insane. You were like, that's what you need to replenish muscles because you're causing them so much damage. And that was such an education for me because I was like, it just blew my mind because I was like, oh, a tin of chickpeas. And then you look at how much you need and you're like, no, you need 12 cows and 12,000 chickpeas a day to even get close to the amount of protein you need. And I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. But when you do eat that volume of protein, you just had lots less aches and pains.
Yeah, you do. And also in terms of like just having a full and balanced diet, it helps you to balance your diet out. That's the main thing. And I think actually when we first spoke, I think things have exploded fitness wise now, especially on social media in terms of the information that's out there.
Yeah.
But I think even leading up to us speaking, there wasn't that much there. So when I do speak to people now, I think people are a little bit more like, oh, protein, like it's kind of like a buzzword in fitness.
Yeah.
But I think when we started speaking and around that time, it was just kind of getting people to understand, okay, this is why we want it and this is why it's important.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes there's so many buzzwords that it's like, oh, well, why do I need to have that? And especially when people are like, I know you're not, but vegan or vegetarian, they're kind of like, oh, well, like, why do I need to?
Yeah.
They kind of look at it like that. But yeah, so in terms of the marathon this year,
how
was that?
Don't talk to me about it.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
You completed it, though.
I completed it.
Yeah.
Actually, only 20 minutes slower than my last marathon. And I honestly, when I compare the marathon that I did in 2024 and just keeping that steady pace and coming across the finish line and just feeling like, yeah, it's quick, and just going away straight away, meeting friends and family, drinking loads of Prosecco, just feeling high as a kite. With this marathon, I think doing a marathon with just a year gap between is quite intense on your body. And plus I did halves in between. But my hamstring, I had hamstring issues when we were working together. It just took its toll. And so I had a scan and basically the hamstring tendon just has completely frayed.
Yeah.
So at mile 11, I just felt that ping. And I ran completely in silence. Like my friend that I was running with, she just said, the only thing I can describe it was like when I gave birth and I just went silent because you're just like, you just concentrate on the job you've got to get done. And I just ran from it was between mile 11 and 12 to the finish. Just in so much pain.
And then what happened once you finished? Like what?
I cried like I've never cried before.
Yeah.
Like it was, really bawled my eyes out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even because it was just because of the relief of like, now the pain can come to an end. And I couldn't stop the crying. So my mate, she was all like, oh, and Maisie Adams, who's also a comedian that you'll know of, she was waiting for her cousin on the finish line. And I came across the finish line and Maisie was like, Esther. And I just like fell into her arms. I was like, oh my God, Maisie, that was so off. And it was so hot that day.
Yeah.
So I just felt, I was so dehydrated, but it was, I was with my friend, and like she was like, okay, so you're crying. And she's like, oh mate, you know, it's over, it's done now, blah blah. About 40 minutes later, she's like, you're still crying. I was like, I'm so sorry. I just honestly, I've never experienced anything like that. Even childbirth, I've never experienced just that relief of this is over, because I guess with childbirth you got baby, whereas but it was just relief.
But I guess like it's that you're kind of you do a lot of work up until the actual race itself. So sometimes, and then also you're doing that work, and then you're juggling your career, you're juggling family life, and all that kind of stuff, plus preparing for the one of the hardest races. So it's probably that plus like I've managed to do it. Yeah,
honestly, I've never it was
well done for completing it.
Thank you.
I would have just been like, right, that's it.
I did think that, and I think it got to mile 23, and I just went, I'm just gonna walk I was like, let me just walk for like 15 minutes, and it's at the moment I stopped, you just feel like you're about to float off into the sky because your legs have just been so that kind of made the pain worse. So it was like, actually no, I can't walk it. I've just got to keep going in that same motion.
How's it now?
It took a long while. Now I could probably manage a 5k very, very slowly.
Okay.
But I am now literally just doing 1 or 2 very slow jogs a week. But I'm just in the gym now.
Yeah.
Just working, loading that hamstring as much as possible. And just living off protein and just trying to get
getting
fixed.
It back. You having any manipulation on it or anything?
Yeah, a bit of shockwave therapy.
Okay. How was that?
I love it.
Do you?
I just want it everywhere.
Really?
If there's just a machine that could just electrocute your entire body.
I've never had it before.
Oh, have you not?
Never.
I tell you what it worked really well on is tendinitis.
Okay.
So I had really bad Achilles tendinitis, and it just smashes it away.
Oh.
It's brilliant.
Does it hurt in the moment?
No.
Okay.
No.
Maybe I might have to give it a go. I don't really have anything like that. I have massages quite regularly, like sports massages. But I haven't had anything deeper than that because I guess I haven't had any issues. But I think maybe knee could do you some of that shockwave.
Yeah, my knee's buggered. But the thing is, my knee doesn't hurt when I run, so it only hurts when I'm sat down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? I have the same thing. My mum has the same thing. So running's fine.
Yeah.
Squats, lunges.
Yeah. I can work out in the gym.
Crazy.
But if I kneel on it,
yeah,
or where I'm sat.
It's probably the extent of the flexion, I think. Because when you're like sitting, that's quite, because you squat, but it doesn't flex that much. I think that's what it is.
But there must be something. But I've had shockwave therapy on my knee. It's not made any difference.
Really?
I've had acupuncture on my knee. It's not made any difference.
Oh, that's so annoying.
But sometimes it can wake me up in the night, just a bit achy and stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just a bit of overuse or whatever.
Maybe.
But my left leg, it's all just fun.
It's like once you turn 30, it's like everything is like, okay.
God, well, I'm well past that. But but no, the hamstring. The only thing, because before the marathon, I went to see I had it scanned before the marathon. Anyway, they said don't run, whatever you do, don't run. But I was stubborn, so I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And also because I was raising money for Palestine, which so I felt very strongly about. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. But they said the only way you could fix it in any quick time is to have those PRP injections.
Okay. Did you
I
have
don't know,
that?
Your face, you've just
I've not had anything like that. I try not to talk too much about stuff that I don't really know about.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Just because I think there's always a time and place for lots of different things. So even though I might not put something into practice or might not advise someone, I think like certain practices I'm like, okay, it worked for some people, for some scenarios. So I never like to just rubbish or be like, don't do this.
I didn't know anything about it. I thought it was just people used it for beauty reasons. So I didn't know anything about it, but apparently it's the only kind of. But then I've spoken to people where they've had it and it's not worked and the rest of it. So I thought, you know what, I'll just get through the marathon. I'll just take painkillers to get through it. And then I've just been loading it in the gym. But the killer for me is sitting for long periods of time. Like chairs like this are okay, but when I'm on the train and stuff, I just constantly have to hold myself above the seat, and so you just look really weird. And I've got one of those. I've got a pillow that lets my arse hang down in it, but you can't take that on public transport. You get mental.
Just like, right, I just need to put this down and then
so big as well. It's so giant, but it's the only thing.
That's a good idea though. That's really
it's the only thing, because you just need to let the tendon hang, because where the tendon is frayed, it creates a little calcified spur off your sit bone, so it all kind of hits a nerve, and it's almost like a sciatic pain. Oh my god, no.
No.
Honestly,
well, it's good that you're in the gym and you're just trying to build up the strength again and just trying to get it repaired.
Because I'm not going to do another marathon. I don't. Well, maybe I
Ever.
would. Maybe I would.
Later down the line, once you're feeling a bit stronger.
But I'm going to do the Giza half marathon around the pyramids in December.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I need to start training for that around, I reckon, about August.
Yeah, I think a half will be good. But then how warm is it going to be?
It's going to be in the 20s.
Yeah, okay.
And
I'm not doing another half marathon, but I'm going to do a half marathon around the pyramids. Okay.
I mean, it's the 13th of July. It's the coolest it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, that's a bit of an experience.
Do you think they're addictive, marathons?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I've watched a few people document like doing ultra marathons and stuff like that, and I'm just like, and they keep doing them. It's not like they just do one.
Do you think, because it's so weird, because I used to be a half marathon runner, and I was like, I can never ever do a marathon. Psychologically, physically, I can never get to the point where I just leave my house and have to go for a training run for 5 hours. It's just never going to happen. And I think what it is the moment you do one, the sense of achievement is so nourishing that you then, because it's the only thing where you dread everything. And then when you finish, I mean, I really enjoyed the London Marathon. I've got to say, I do think crowds make a huge difference.
So this marathon that you did this year?
It was Manchester.
Ah, okay.
And the crowds were great in Manchester, but it's not as dense as London. Like London, I think it's only when you go through a part of Wapping, there's a little quiet period, but everywhere else it's like, and it made a difference. And I really noticed that in Manchester, that when we were going through areas where there were crowds, the pain lifted.
Ah, interesting.
So isn't that interesting? So I suddenly felt like, oh no, I can do this. Or I'd see like some people with like Palestinian flags and they were like cheering because I was running for their charity, and that would lift the pain. So I was like, it's such a psychological thing. But those moments where it was quite quiet, really hot, and your earpods died, and I was just like, this pain is unbearable. And then you turn a corner and someone's like, come on, you can do it. And you're like, oh, I'm in this. It's so psychological.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right about the feeling of achievement, isn't it? And I think that is what it is. It's like, okay, if I can do this, and I always think when you achieve things fitness wise, it kind of feeds into other areas of life, doesn't it? It's like, okay, if I can do that felt really hard, I can do that. It kind of pushes you to be able to do other things, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does push you, and I think and also you want that validation for so long.
Yeah,
because like that day people are like, wow, that's amazing. The next day, oh, you ran it yesterday, okay, cool. But by the time day after that, everyone's like, no one cares, and you're just like, I want to be a legend for so long. I was doing a show, me and Fatia El Ghori were doing a show on Monday, and I love Fatia, and she really makes me like her. She just lays into me, and we mock each other quite a lot. But I went on stage and she was like, oh, she's going to talk about the marathon again. That's all she ever talks about. And I went out and I was like, because I ran the marathon, and then this woman just went, wow. And I was like, oh my God, did you run it? And her girlfriend went, 10 years ago. And I was like, it's so true. Once you do it once, you're like, I'm a legend, and everyone should know for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I think it is one of those like the things where someone's done. I was like, oh, like it is one of those things where you look at someone and you're like, oh, yeah, kind of thing. So I can understand.
But I think more comedians are doing it now.
Yeah,
I think I know.
So have you started like a trend?
No, well, I tried to start a little running club, which had a few of us in.
Nice.
But I realised I was trying to do it on a Friday, and everyone is always travelling to gigs. So I was like, okay, maybe, because I do want to. I have my running leadership qualification for just doing group runs, and the licence has expired. So I'd love to redo it, and I want to redo it to do running fitness training. So I was like, oh, you need to kind of get that your hours in of training a group. So I was like, well, let me try it with comedians, but then obviously everyone's really faffy, and me included, so it's an absolute bloody nightmare. But I do think a lot more comedians are doing marathons now. Yeah,
good. How did you get into comedy then? What was the thing that kind of spurred you into it? Because I read that you did a course.
Yes.
Which I really want to do, like a stand-up comedy course, but Rachel and my boyfriend are like, you don't need to do a course. Just go and do it. Just go to open mic night. And I'm like, oh, I can't think of anything worse. I need like a format. But you did a course in Camden or something.
I think the good thing with any of the courses are it gives you almost like a school cohort.
Yeah.
So when you start comedy, you start with the people that you're in open mic nights, and it does give you a kind of group, because it's quite an isolated thing to go into. So I do think and the courses are quite good for giving you that shove. But yeah, in terms of, you know, is it going to teach you how to be a comedian? No, the only thing it teaches you is by doing the open mics. Yeah,
I was hoping that he's going to be like, yeah, do the course.
No, do the course. Do the course.
Yeah.
I mean, I run the Soho lab courses at Soho Theatre.
Do you?
Yeah, so I teach me and Sakiza. So she does she does Soho Labs and I do Soho Labs Plus. So I work with people who are now going on to their 20 minutes or getting an hour together. But yeah, me and Sakiza run them and we love it. We absolutely love it. They're and I think it's great because it does create real camaraderie, and then everyone goes to the open mics together and they're setting up gigs and they're supporting each other. So I do think it's good to have a few people.
Yeah, I think so. So how did you kind of get into like what was how did you manage to get into it? Like what made you decide to be a comedian? Like what's your path?
Well, it was the bug that bit, a little bit like, I mean, it's like running. It's once you get bit by the bug, it then becomes something you do become quite obsessive with. I do think it's weird that I do two things, comedy and running, which are really individual. There's no team, and creates quite a lot of anxiety, and then you're just happy when it's done.
I know what you mean.
You come off stage and you're like, oh, that went well, great. Or you finish a run and go, oh my God, I completed it.
Yeah.
It's a weird psychology. But once I did the course, there was you had to do a showcase at the end. And I hadn't really planned to do the showcase because I'd only done the course with my friend because she wanted to do the course and I just needed to get out of the house and shake myself a bit because I was at home with 2 kids on maternity leave. Once I did the showcase, that was the bug that bit. Yeah.
What were you doing? So you were on maternity leave from where?
I was a teacher.
What, teaching what, like kids or like secondary school?
At that point, I was teaching secondary because I jumped around a lot because I used to teach foundation degree. I taught sixth form, taught secondary, went back to sixth form, back to foundation. So I was jumping around quite a lot.
What was your subject?
My subject was media and film.
Oh, okay.
But when I taught at UEL, I taught sociology, the foundation degree.
Oh.
But up until I think when I started doing comedy, I was very set in my workplace. And then once I started doing comedy, I kept jumping around between where would let me kind of juggle hours with children and comedy. So I think that was a bit of a sign that I was coming to the end of it with teaching.
Yeah.
When you're kind of like, oh, maybe if I try this, maybe I try that. And then, yeah.
And then how long was it between doing the course and actually starting to go out and do gigs? Like how long did you take to do that? Or did you kind of just go straight into trying material and writing?
Yeah, I started gigging like 3-4 nights a week. And that kind of remained the same until it turned into a full-time job. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And what does because you talk a lot about your family on your during your sets, and you talk about your husband, and you talk about the differences between you in terms of like your background and things like that. How does he feel about being? Do you kind of do you tell him, oh, this is a joke I'm going to do, or does he come and see it and then he hears it and he's like, oh, like, how does he feel about being?
How does he feel about
in
being
the jokes
mocked?
Yeah.
I think what my husband realised very, very quickly is that you joke about the people that you are the most comfortable with. So it's the relationship, like we've all got those friends where you just know you can't take the piss out of them because they'll take it the wrong way or they get upset. But the friends that you're very, very tight with who know you and know what you're about they'll rib you, you rib them back. So I realised the people that I talk about on stage are the ones that I have the most secure relationship with.
Interesting.
So he's never taken umbrage. I don't think he's ever taken umbrage at anything particularly. And he's kind of just accepted it. I think that's because that was it's the same relationship we have at home.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not anything new. It's not like I'm suddenly, it's not like at home I'm one person, then I go on stage and it's like, oh my God, you're so different. So no, it's never been an issue.
Yeah. That's good. That is really good. And does he come to your gigs quite often? Well, I guess he might be looking after the kids.
Yeah, it's difficult, but he will. He'll come to when I do my solo shows. He always comes.
Yeah.
And some of the gigs he'll come to. But I think when it becomes you're doing it all the time, it's it's like, and again that's like the marathons. Like they came to the London Marathon, but when I was like, and then they came when I did Hackney Half. And then I think after that, they were like, we're not coming to any more now. This is because it's a lot standing around.
Yeah. And for you to run by one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? And then your kids as well. Like, how old are they?
My son's 9, my daughter's 11.
And have they seen like any of your socials?
Yes. So my daughter used to hate it when she was about 9. She was really embarrassed about it. She didn't want to talk about it. She didn't she didn't want anyone to know. And then when she started secondary school, she's like, if anyone finds out, I'm going to be so embarrassed, and you're such an embarrassing mum, and why aren't you just normal? And I never made any deal out of it. I was just like, well, this is what I do for a living. I'm always going to run past what I talk about.
How did she, like, did she see something like,
and then because my son always loved it. So my son's always watched it, and he finds it funny, and I probably mock my son a lot more than my girl, and then she saw something, and then I just noticed she started watching it a lot more, and I think now she could happily come and watch the show. Yeah, it's weird how they suddenly go from when they're little and you feel you need to protect them, and like, oh no, because I'm swearing and it's bad words and all the rest of it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I can imagine about 2 years time you'll be able to come and sit through a show. Yeah,
that's exciting. That is really exciting. Can you imagine them wanting to get into comedy, either of them?
No, I've loved them too much.
Like, no, don't do it. So funny. But so you kind of, how old were you when you started getting into it? So you were teaching, and then you went on maternity, and then you went into it.
33.
Okay. And who at that time was your did you have any comedy inspiration to kind of start going out and gigging and things like that? Or like comedians that you kind of looked at and thought, oh, that'd be really cool to do, or like...
I didn't really watch, like I watched comedy growing up, but I didn't, at that particular time, I wasn't kind of up to date with any comedian. I wasn't somebody who was like a big comedy fan. I wasn't, so I didn't really know a lot of the kind of contemporary cool kids on the block. I didn't really know much about them. My references were still really a little bit kind of 8 out of 10 Cats had Sean Locke on it. That was kind of like where my comedy knowledge had stopped. So I really liked people like Dara O'Brien. I really liked lots of different people. But female comedian wise, there was a real gap, because I was like, I grew up like with Victoria Wood, and then obviously you had like Joe Brand and Shappy, but then there was almost like a bit of a gap where I don't remember, like, it was very 2000s, where those panel shows, they didn't really have a lot of women. You had your Catherine Ryans, Sarah Pascoe was just starting to come through. They were very early starting to come through. But there was a real, I remember, because I used to watch those panel shows a lot, and I don't remember there ever been. I remember it feeling very laddie. And the humour was really laddie, and I get really turned off by laddie humour. It's not my cup of tea at all. I find it really aggressive and very punch downy. So I never really hooked into it. And then I think as a lot of the female comedians were coming onto the TV and getting a more prolific name, by that point I was, teaching with kids, and I just stopped watching anything that wasn't Peppa Pig, and so I just zoned out of reality.
Okay, that's interesting, because I asked Rachel the same question, and she had a few people, but I think when it does come to female comedians, I think it is still like that. I think in the last couple of years I've started going to actively watch comedy, and I think because you obviously come into contact with you guys, and then also I've had friends that have been in comedy as well, but before that I wouldn't have said I didn't like comedy, but I didn't have a baseline knowledge, and I wouldn't have been able to name any female comedians. Which is really, do you find that it's still quite male heavy, or do you find that, well, I guess your nights that you do, it's more like it's more women.
I was talking to somebody about this, and I was like, because the some of the clubs, they can still get very like, oh, it's really hard to get female comedians, but it's still quite a macho environment. even without the meaning to, you know, the fact that you've got one woman on the bill, the fact that all the tech are still male, the security are male, you know, the people running everything are male, and then you've got a very kind of you're kind of laying out this very kind of male heavy night, and then you've almost like, and now here come, let's trundle out the woman because we need to tick a box, and there we are, that's her done. It really does still set you up to kind of have to meet a lot of aggression, and it makes you, as a female comedian, when you do the clubs, it makes you hyper aggy. You've got to go out hyper, so it's such a joy when you do
what do you mean by that? Do you mean
you've
like
got to go out there like
almost like fighting to go out there?
It is. You've got to go out straight away like and so it's a real joy when you do the calmer nights, the more theatre-y gigs, or your solo show where you can just really mess around and have fun with it, and you know that people aren't there going, oh god, here she comes. And I was talking to another comic, Carl Donnelly, and he was talking about a gig that he had, and he said, oh, I think it was a bit weird. It felt like it took them a good few minutes to accept that I was the comedian. And I was like, and welcome to being a female comedian. That's what we have every single time.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is that about? Is it because why do you think the reason is? Do you think it's because there's like a primarily male audience, or do you feel like it's what people are used to and then they don't really know?
We've been groomed to accept the male narrative, and we haven't yet been. We're in the process, and it's changing, but the female narrative has not been normalised. So talking about, you know, the fact that a male comic for years and years and years can go on stage and talk in quite a crude way, could swear a lot, could talk about his body in quite a graphic way, and men and women are so normalised by it, it doesn't disgust or freak us out. Whereas it's still a very, very, very contemporary thing for a woman to go out on stage and talk about anything in that kind of graphic, open way, and we're still not used to it, so we still get shocked, repulsed, turned off, gross, scream. It's unladylike, it's undignified, you know. Why do you have to swear? Why do you need to be like this? And you're held to standards that are still way, way higher than men's standards. So it will change because younger women are becoming a lot more open. I was even, you know, having this conversation with my daughter. She's gone through puberty and stuff, and she's very open about it. And she's very open with her dad. You know, if she has her period or whatever, she'll go and say, oh, Dad, can you get me sanitary towels? And my husband just went, my mother would never. He went, I feel like she just went, our entire childhood, she just had to hide. He said, we never saw a sanitary towel. Like, it was we never saw a tampon in the bathroom. Just everything was hidden. These were her personal things. And if she had a lady day, and we never talked about it. And I was just like, it's things like that where you're like, I'm so glad it's changing, that it's more open, that women don't just have to kind of scuttle away, the dirty whores they are, and just hide the fact that their body functions.
It's crazy. It's insane, isn't it? Like, it's just... We had a
lot to overcome, and hopefully it's changing. Yeah. Hopefully. And I think it is. I think
it is. I see so much more now, and do you know Grace Campbell?
Yes.
Yeah, so I saw her. She did a gig the same night my friend did one a few years ago. And I just, so I've been following her. I just love her content, and I love her sets because she just talks about all the stuff that you'd want to talk about. Even for myself, if I was going to go, you know, into trying stand up and stuff like that, there's things that I would want to talk about, but I don't know if I'd have the courage to talk about. To be completely honest, when you said that, I was like, actually, that's hit the nail on the head.
Would you? And it is amazing. Like, it is amazing when you have somebody who comes up and they'll go, oh, I just don't know. Like, you do talk about sex. And I'm like, I don't. I don't. I've been married so long. There is absolutely nothing I could say about it. Yeah. I've got nothing exciting, funny, whatever. And they're like, no, you do. And when you pick apart, it might be that you said something like, you know, I went for a bikini wax, or I put on my sanitary towel, and straight away it's just like dirty sex, slut, whore. Really? And it's just straight away that, whoa, you've just made yourself out to be a real... And you're like, no, I haven't. Yeah. Also, if you're a woman and you swear, that's picked up on very quickly. So it's a funny old double standards, but it's very subconscious and it's very embedded, and it's not people just go, oh, men don't want to hear women. No, women also don't want to hear women because they've been really repressed for so long and they've not been allowed to talk. So I do kind of understand it. It's like, well, why do you get to go out and say what you want to say? And I shut up and bear it for as long as I did.
Yeah.
But hopefully it will change and it'll be a different situation.
I think so. And I think with social media now as well, like things are a lot more, you can kind of tap it, like once you see one person and you like it or whatever, then you start seeing more and then you're like, oh, actually I'll go and see that person and do, you know, and spend more time with it. I think things are changing for sure.
I think so.
Yeah, so in terms of I had a question from Rachel. She said, ask you, what annoys you the most about comedians? That was her question. So you know at the end where you can ask the person who's previously been on, what would you ask the next person? I told her I see.
Is this Rachel Fairburn?
Yeah.
Oh, Rachel. What most annoys me about comedians? I think when anybody gets a little bit of recognition, this is myself included, we become a little bit deluded in that we think we're more than we are.
How do you mean?
So I think anybody who gets any kind of, you know, accolades, audience following, you suddenly kind of go, you kind of develop this God complex. And it really, and I'm very grateful in that, you know, even after I did Live at the Apollo, I came home and no one gave a shit. Like, my kids don't care. You know, mums at the school gates don't care. Everyone's just like, whatever. Like, you know, you've got, and in a way that, you know, I mean, to be fair, you know, I'm just a normal clubbing comic now, but it's so important that you, I don't know, I'm going around in circles. What I'm saying is you develop, there can be a little bit of God complex. So it can be a little bit overbearing when people think what I've got to say is really important. So therefore, whatever I say is just these words of wisdom. And it's just like, no one's that important. No one's that important.
Okay.
And I think that's the same for anyone who's got a bit of public
clout.
space. Yeah. They always just like, I've got stuff to say and it's really interesting. It's just like, oh, no one's that interested. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can make people laugh, have a bit of laugh, you know, a bit of escapism from everyday life. But none of us are God. No one's going to, we're not able to, you know, shift seasons. Come on. All we can do is help provide a little bit of light relief.
I think what it might be sometimes is like when people, I guess if they want to go and do something and that person's done that thing, they kind of look at them like, you know, that kind of thing that kind of comes over people.
I think it happens in every walk of life, but I think it's the keeping up with the Joneses. And if you feel that you're surpassing in terms of, I don't know, you've got X amount of followers or you're on this or you're on that or whatever, and we all do it. We all do it. We're like, oh my God. You know, like the other day when I hit 40k and I was like, oh my God, 40,000 people. And you just have this little flush of like, oh my God. Everyone must be just really interested in everything I have to say. And then you're just like, no, you're just providing a bit of light relief. That's your job. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Well, that's great. 40k is great though. I'm like 40k.
I know, but then you'll get humbled very quickly because you'll go, oh my God, I've got 40k, and someone else like, I've got 250,000. You're like, yeah, right. But yeah, so when you're with a lot of comics, it can be sometimes a little bit overbearing because everybody feels that they should be the center of that room is what I mean. So they're all like, I could bring the funny, I'm the most important, I've got the most to say, and actually it can just be a bit overwhelming. So that's when you find you just go and sit with somebody at the tech box.
Just take 5 minutes. Just sit here for a bit. So your tour that you're doing at the moment, I think
I've finished my last tour and now I'm going on tour again in September.
Yeah, and that's Slagbomb?
Yes.
And that's until February next year. Is that right? Or... Yes. You know more than I. So what was the inspiration for Slagbomb?
Slagbomb.
And what is it actually?
It's a drink.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like a Jaeger bomb? Partly.
Yeah.
What's in there?
It's It's Jaeger Bomb, WKD and Iron Brew.
Oh.
I know.
Is it nice?
No. Well, actually, I say that. I did a Slagbomb cocktail session and we were all having a little sip and we came to the conclusion that it tastes like Cowpole or Trixie.
Right.
Do you remember Trixie Licks?
I do remember Trixie Licks.
Yeah.
And I remember really liking that as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tastes like Trixie Licks.
Oh, God.
So you wouldn't be
Sweet.
able to drink a lot of it, but you could probably do a shot of it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And Jaeger Bomb's got that kind of like sweet syrupy kind of.
Yeah.
Jägermeister has that consistency, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. So what's Slagbomb about? Like what themes?
So Slagbomb is the sandwiches.
The
so
sandwiches?
I've called it Slagbomb, but it's about the sandwiches where you are both looking after parents who are getting older and you're still looking after kids.
Okay.
So it's a very, very tiring period of your life that no one ever really talks about and no one prepares you about. And all of a sudden you're sandwiched in between both. And it's just funny stories that are very relatable. And when you've got other elements that are added on top of that. So obviously, you're looking after parents, you're looking after kids. And then obviously I've got my father's side of the family who are all, in Lebanon and the war's going off and you're then dealing with that whilst your kids are just like, Mum, I need this, or Mum, I need that. And you've got your parents worried about that and, and then parents getting ill and hospital visits and all the kind of mortifying things that parents do as they get older. So it's just a little bit of escapism for people, relatable stuff, that family stuff.
I've never heard it put like that before, but it is one of those things.
It's because it's only really being recognised now. It's funny how the more we talk about, mental health, the more we actually. It's like the I never heard about it until about 5 or 6 years ago. Emotional labour. So how when you become a mum, there's all this unpaid emotional labour that's never recognised, the kind of endless list making, the fact that, schools will more likely call mum than dad first, things like that, where it's put and no one recognises it.
Will they do that? Will they do that, really?
Yeah, so it's those types of things where, or like, if there's a child's birthday party, the expectations that mum will buy the present or mum will organise. And so it's like, well, how do you start to shift that? And I think sandwiches is only just now becoming a recognised phase where it's like, oh, this is quite a tricky time because we're the first generation of parents who are managing kids that have been groomed on technology.
Yeah.
So that puts a whole different spin on parenting. And we're the first generation where you can't afford, culturally, I couldn't do that anyway, but you can't afford also to put people into care homes. So parents are having to move in with people, or you can't afford to have nurses to go and look after them or to afford to pay for carers. So people are now having to, really juggle financially and, look after parents. And so it's a new phase of this period of life where you're like, wow, this is really...
There is a lot. There's a lot there.
On the old millennials, they're really now having to manage both areas.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's one of those things where you can kind of feel that happening. Like, like with like me and my friends, and you can feel like things happening. Our parents might be getting things, just you got the turn of events, and it's like, oh, hang on, like you're the adult now that you're kind of holding these things up. And then obviously once you start having kids, which obviously I don't have, but that's you're sandwiched in the middle, and then you have to deal with it.
And also that your parents are no longer like these stoic people who look after you. Suddenly they're the ones who need a lot of help and support, and and so people have to move to be nearer parents, or they have to move parents near to them, and then that brings a lot of kind of other. But I do think it is. I do think what's so funny about that phase is just as your children are kind of getting out of the neediness and embarrassing you and mortifying you, you've now got these parents who just suddenly are like the ones who are really needy and then causing you a lot of embarrassment and doing that thing that parents do when they go out and about, of talking really loudly because they're deaf and barging about the place, and you're just like, oh my god. So there's lots of fun stuff in there. Having to take my mum to a drug dealer, all sorts. My mum had stomach cancer, and she wanted to try cannabis oil.
Ah, okay.
And so it was this whole thing of like, no one knew. We didn't know how to go and find. We didn't know how to go and find a drug dealer. So it was like, you've just got the most unlikely candidate for him to go out and find a drug dealer, or things like, having to organise your dad to go for his prostate check. It's just all these things where it's just like, this is not an angle I ever wanted to see with my parents.
That you'd ever be doing that. Interesting. Okay. And then, so when does this tour start?
14th of September.
Okay, cool. Yeah. How are you feeling about it? Are you kind of...
How am I feeling about it? I feel like this has been probably the most... I really loved my last show, and I feel like this show, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fun, but also it's quite a cathartic show as well, because it's been quite an intense period of time, and so I find that laughing at some of the black humour in the show is definitely like, a bit of black comedy where you're laughing at things that are a little bit dark, but it's quite cathartic to get it. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, be a lot of fun.
And then in comparison to your last show, like what was your last show centered around? Were there similar themes kind of coming
centered around rage?
Okay.
Yeah. About how it's you're never supposed to be an angry woman, but actually I think it's fine. Yeah. I think it's fine for women to be angry. I think it's fine to lose your rag.
Yeah, it's healthy, isn't it?
It is healthy. You've got a little bit of
healthy.
It's you get kind of tarnished, don't you, that the worst thing you can be is an angry woman. So with my sandwich years, I was like, it's fine to just be undignified, because it's just a very undignified phase of life. You can't be this sexy, glamorous Insta mum. You cannot be when you're having to, shut your dad's medical gown at a prostate check, or like, troll around East London looking for drug dealers. It's just unglamorous in Crocs with no makeup on. And you saggy bit of bread tits.
How did you find one then? How did you find the drug dealer that you needed?
I have a teenage nephew.
Oh, okay, that's good. So he came in handy with his contacts.
It was just the most cutest interaction I've ever seen. This drug dealer just being unbelievably cute with my very frail elderly mum, just like, but it helped her. It helped her sleep better. It helped her rest better, and it helped her just kind of get a bit, be able to, because she from chemo and stuff, you get such bad nausea, and it really disrupts your sleep. So just she had a little bit of cannabis oil every week or so, and it would just give her a bit of respite to let her sleep, let her eat and stuff. So it did help her. But like I say, these things are such personal choices, aren't they? You just got to do what's right for you. And
definitely.
Yeah, and I don't know which way the law will go in future as to whether it will be legalised. But I mean, it is in the US, and I do think for medical reasons, it's got some good benefits. It really has.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's been a gateway drug. She's not on Ket. She's not on Ket down the drum sheds in. She's high again. She's with her walking frame.
Oh, bless her. No, that's funny. So it's September's when Slagbomb starts.
Yes.
Are you doing Edinburgh this year?
No, I will be in Edinburgh for 3 nights, because I'm doing something called Abnormally Funny, because I recently have partially lost my hearing, which actually came from the Lisbon half marathon.
Oh my god! Yeah. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so I didn't have it before, and I got an infection when I was running Lisbon, and they gave me antibiotics and stuff, but I couldn't change my flight home, and they were like, well, hopefully it will just be okay to get you through the flight.
Oh, that's just sent shivers down.
Yeah, and then when I was on the flight, it popped my eardrum, and so I've partially lost my
forever.
Yeah. They did say he said that we can stitch up the eardrum, but it won't bring back the hearing. But that may be worth doing, just to, I think the whole does make it worse for infections.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because if there is like a gap there, because I don't know why I've got like this weird fear about ear infections. Just because like if you've got a throat infection, if you've got like an infection in your body, you can do stuff to it. You can get to it. Ear, you can't get any. You can't do anything. Even an eye infection, you can't do anything with your ear. So whenever you go up in the plane and then like pops and stuff, I'm always just like, I've always got gum with me. I'm always like,
oh God, I haven't even thought about that. I don't think I've been in a plane since I've had it.
Just make sure you got some gum.
Oh yeah,
so
I'll
it's
have
not
to get some.
painful.
So I might get it stitched up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I might go back and do. I just
So you got an ear infection when you were running, like what?
From the humidity. So the humidity, and it
Oh.
rained, and I think just running for that long,
Yeah.
with water going into my ear,
Yeah.
and I noticed my ear had been quite itchy leading up to it. I'd had a
Yeah.
real itch in there, so maybe there'd been a bit of dryness in there or something. But anyway, so it's caused that. So I'm wearing a hearing aid, and so there's a showcase in Edinburgh for people with disabilities.
Okay.
So I'm doing 4 nights of that.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be me and Harriet Dyer. So she wears 2 hearing aids. So we're completely deaf, and I'm a bit of a mumbler. So we'll be a bloody nightmare together. And then there's Shafi Khorsandi because she's ADHD, and then Will Robbins, who has a form of dwarfism. So it's been the 4 of us together, and they're all very good mates. So it should be lovely, lovely time.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
so
nice time.
When was the last time you did like a full? Have you ever done a full show for the whole time, Edinburgh?
Oh,
that'd be years ago now.
Yeah, I'm not good in Edinburgh.
Why?
I find it too stressful.
It is a lot. I don't know anybody that said that it hasn't been stressful. Like I've had mates who've taken shows up there every year.
Oh really?
And I just and you know they did amazingly, great shows and stuff, but just like the debt and the stress. I just remember being like,
some people
oh my God.
really. I mean, I've done 2 solo runs in Edinburgh, and my first one was my debut. So I thought, okay, fine, that's very stressful. And then I did another one. I did it with Plosive, who were lovely, and the show.
Oh, so they actually did your.
And my last tour as well.
Oh, amazing.
And the show was fun, and the reviews were lovely and all the rest of it. But I just find the first day I did the show, I just was so hot.
That's the one memory you can. What do you mean?
I get
was it
really
one of those
stressed out
really
and I get really hot. It was just such
of...
a hot venue.
Okay, where was it? Not like I know all the venues.
It was in the centre, but it was just a lot of the venues, they don't have air conditioning, and I was just like, I'm so hot, and I think I just obsessed about the heat because I was actually really stressed about everything else. And then being away from your family, and you just feel like, and it's it's a big old chunk of time. But then the other side of it is that you do laugh more than you've ever laughed before. Like everyone's having a nervous breakdown, and everyone's just on that kind of manic edge of just maniacal kind of. You laugh a lot. You do laugh a lot, and you have a lot of fun. So I did have a lot of fun, but I definitely just spent a lot of it being very, very anxious as well. So I'm just not built for it. Other comedians are really cool. They're chilled. I'm too anxious for it.
It is. I mean, I would love to go up there and do a show with people, like not my own thing. That's what would be fun.
Yeah, I think I think when my kids are older and I don't feel like I'm missing out on spending summer with them, and if I didn't have anyone come and review it, and I just was doing something really fun with mates, because when I did the Fringe the first couple of years, I mean, I took my kids up with me.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and that was a bloody nightmare. I was like pushing a double buggy around Edinburgh, but I was doing a split. Just absolutely. I remember Cindy V just walking out of a shop, and she was like, "Whose babies are those?" And I was like, "They're mine." She was like, "What? You got babies?" But that was when I was like doing split with other comics, and so we were all doing like 20 minutes each or whatever.
Yeah.
And you did it on the free Fringe, and no one's got like reviewers coming in, and you're just doing it for the experience, and that is a lot of fun. So maybe in the future I'd do something like that, but no, I'm not.
Not this year.
No.
Not your own show.
No.
What's your relationship with the reviews? Because some people say that they read. Some people say, like, I think Rachel says she doesn't read any comments or anything like that on like socials. But do you read like if you do like when you do Slagbomb, for instance, are you going to read the reviews that come through? Every reviewer or certain ones?
I say I don't want to know about reviews, but then I know I'll end up looking. I've got very good with the comments, I'll be honest with you. Like Rachel, I've got very good. When I first started, I'd read comments, and then when Shelley 49 said she's a bad mother, or Kevin from Tunbridge Wells said, this is about as funny as, I don't know, cancer, you're just like, oh my God, it's the worst. But now I don't care. It's like if it really makes you feel better about whatever's going on in your life, then you crack on. But I don't need to read it. It doesn't need to impact me. But with reviews, I guess I don't know why. I feel like maybe I want to know what's been said rather than being oblivious.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, yeah. I read the reviews for the last tour, and we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, I think there's kind of like I think with the reviews, you can kind of take some good things away from them, can't you? Because if it's some kind of structural thing that they say, then it's like, oh, okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But if it's someone's just being a dick, then it's like, how did you know?
I know, and it's so hard, isn't it? Because somebody might, I mean, people sometimes they just don't like you.
Yeah.
They just don't like you, and they'll just go away and go, look, it's just not for me. And you just have to accept that. It's such a subjective thing. It's so weird because it's not something you can really be graded on. So yeah, it's a funny old one.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, so in terms of your once Slagbomb finishes, have you got any plans for anything else? Like how quickly do you write shows, and how quickly do they kind of come into fruition once you have like ideas and things, or do you write things as you go through the year and like little anecdotes?
I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, it's so different because when you do your first show, you basically just take all the stuff that you've said in clubs and you just raj it into a show. You just go, right, what are the linking themes here? That's what my show is. And then you go into your second show, and it's where you've started to write some new little bits for the clubs, and you're like, okay, what's the theme here? And then how can I build around that? When I wrote my third show, it was pure, I don't know, it was just purely that's how I was feeling at that moment. So it was just this kind of meltdown on why women should be able to be angry. But with my second show, I felt like that took me probably, and because we had the pandemic as well, that took me a long period. Whereas my third show was relatively short. And then with this show, I think this show's been the hardest because I was like, wow, this is starting completely from scratch. I finished my tour, and it's like, right, and all my bits from my tour that had worked well, I've then taken into the clubs. But this was like, what are you going to do? And so it's been each show has been a completely different process.
Yeah,
I've not had the same process for either one.
Yeah.
So I don't have a formula.
Okay. So I guess that's quite good because it's like organically you'll just kind of evolve, won't you?
Yeah.
And I guess you'll see what works well and what you
Yeah.
want to kind of keep from this show and what you want to take into another one. Like, how do you deal with audiences when, you know, like, because I've been in audiences where it's not been, I guess, the right audience for the comedians that are on the stage.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just the chemistry.
Yeah.
Somebody can come and see you and you have an absolute stonker and they love you, and then they come and see you again and you have an absolute shocker and they're like, oh, wow, you were great last time. What changed? And it's like, well, it's like when you have a first date and it grows brilliantly, and then you go and have a second date and you're just like, it's just not the same, chemistry.
It's not working.
There's all sorts of reasons. You might not be their cup of tea. You know, the person on before you has set a different vibe that you're quite, you know, twist from. There's all sorts of reasons. And I just plough on.
Yeah.
I just plough and I act like I'm having a great time. Even though inside I'm dying very, very slowly. But when you have a hard show for an hour, my God, does it feel like you are on that stage for days.
Oh my God.
It's the worst feeling when you look at your watch and you're like, how has only 7 minutes gone by? No, and you just feel like saying to the audience, do you know, none of us want this. You don't want it. I don't want it. Should we all just go to the pub? Yeah? Should we just do that? And you just, wouldn't it be great? I mean, maybe I should just do that one time and just be like, let's just lift the tension. You know, it's fine. It's fine. We tried. You know, we tried to make this marriage work. It hasn't happened. Let's just all go and get shit-faced. Honestly, there is nothing worse than just like, how has this time? And then you have other shows where it's like, how's it been an hour already?
So
yeah. I feel like I've only just started.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
You know, Kate. I want to say Kate. I can't remember her surname, but we worked together. She's really tall.
Kate Martin.
Kate Martin.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I love the way you were like, Kate. She's really Kate Martin.
Yeah.
I was just manically thinking of female comedians, and I was like, Kate Barron. No, she's not really tall. Kate Martin. Yes.
Yeah. So she always said, because we actually had when did we work together? 2023, 24, I think. And she we had a face-to-face session actually, because she was completely new to the gym, and we spoke about how she has different audiences. So if she knows that she's going to somewhere in Surrey or Kent, for example, she knows that that's not her. She knows that
everyone says Kent. Everyone's like,
sorry.
Oh, Kent.
And she said, obviously London's good, up north is good. And I think she said sometimes, I think Essex was kind of like that.
Yeah, Essex can. I mean, I have some of my best gigs in Essex. Like, absolutely love a bit of Essex. And then there's other parts of Essex. I sometimes wonder if it's the new money in Essex, where there is so much Botox.
This is what she did say something about new money versus old money.
A few of us have had this conversation where it's like, where some of the younger ones, when you go and do gigs in Essex where a bit more old school Essex, it's the best. But when it's the kind of younger ones who are a little bit more image conscious, they're more likely to kind of just sit there and be like, but then I don't know. I find the reaction with the younger ones in Essex is very similar to when you go and gig in very, very rich places, where they'll just sit there and go, that's really funny.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. And it's the most soul-crushing thing ever, because you're like, for the love of God, just laugh. For the love of God, don't just sit there with your frozen face, just going, it's very funny. And you're just like, please, show some human. So yeah, it can be. But it's so funny about Kent. I'm just like, everyone says Kent.
I wonder why that is. I don't really know much about Kent. I'm not going to lie.
I've had some good ones in Kent. I don't know. There are certain places that are just always joyous, though, like Bristol.
Oh, really?
No person on this planet has a bad gig in Bristol.
Bristol's such good vibes, though, isn't it?
It is, like, and they've got a Green MP. I think it's just because it's a very liberal city where everyone feels very, very, very proud of having
really
this
welcoming.
warm, welcoming atmosphere. And you cannot have a bad gig in Bristol. Look at that. I'll go and have a terrible show there now. I've jinxed it. But you always have a lovely one. Always have a lovely one. Yeah. It's funny that.
Yeah, it's jokes. But yeah. So in terms of the next thing, so is there anything that you want people to look out for in particular over the next few months? It's like Slagbomb's the thing. Any little gigs or big gigs that you've got coming up leading up to that point?
Oh God, what am I doing? I'll be doing the Greenwich Comedy Festival. So come along to that.
I went to that last year.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
So I can't remember who's on that. Like, I think it's Frankie Boyle, Fatia El Ghori, myself, and I can't remember who the other person is. But that'll be good. And what else? And then I'll be in Edinburgh doing Abnormally Funny, and then on tour. So yeah, come along to that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
I really appreciate it.
No, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, we'll look out for you on Slagbomb.
Yeah, come along.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'll send you a ticket.
Yay. That's that then, isn't it?
Oh, lush.
That was great. Thank you so much.